Prince Harry being stripped of his Duke of Sussex title has been discussed at the highest level, according to a carnival of so-called experts close to King Charles and Camilla, Robert Jobson, who has written a book that is basically about trashing Harry and Meghan. A book meant to be, about the king has been turned into trashing Harry and Meghan. And my family, and also, apparently, members of the royal family, palace officials, joked, that's the language being used, joked, that Harry was Meghan's hostage. My family, and the family was shocked by his demands and behavior before Queen's death. So what are these demands and behavior, my family? What did Harry ask for? My family, what are those demands? My family, that is what we will discuss in this video. My name is Brian, and welcome back to Sussex Squad Family TV on YouTube. My family, once again, we are hearing how the royal family were joking that Prince Harry is Meghan's hostage. My family, all because a husband refused to watch his wife being abused. Suddenly, he became a hostage of Meghan, because Harry would not join in the abuse of Meghan. As a royal family and the tabloids expected him to. And because Harry protects his wife, because he defends his wife, because he chose his wife and son, apparently Harry is a hostage. Because Harry won't leak stories about his wife, won't hand over his son to the carnival of so-called experts who racially abuse Archie, to give them photos, access to Archie. My family, apparently, because of that, Harry is Meghan's hostage. And my family, make no mistake, this language, I firmly believe, comes from senior members of the royal family. I recall an article by the Independent tabloid, whose editor is Jody Gregg, a good friend of Camilla Parker Bowles, who published an article titled "Prince Harry has been kidnapped by a cult of psychotherapy and Meghan Markle." I'll never ever forget that. My family, these stories, clearly, they come from members of the royal family. And that is how the family think. That's what they believe. That Harry is Meghan's hostage. My family, this is misogyny. That is what it is. And my family, allow me to just show you this, my family, because I want you to hear this, what Harry said about Meghan Markle, because I want us to discuss who truly, in this entire story, has been a hostage. Who is the hostage? My family, that's what we'll answer today. My family, here is what Harry said about all of this, my family. Please hear this anecdote. It was Friday, July 1st. I was due to leave London the next morning, heading to the home of Sir Keith Mills. I was to take part in a sailing race on Sir Keith's yacht around the Isle of Wight. Just as I was stuffing the last few things into my overnight bag, I glanced at my phone. a message on Instagram from the woman, the American. Hello, she said she'd got my info from Violet. She complimented my Instagram page. Beautiful photographs. Thank you. It was mostly photos of Africa. I knew she had been there because I studied her Instagram page too, as in photos of her hanging out with gorillas in Rwanda. She said she'd done some aid work there as well with children. We shared thoughts about Africa, photography, travel. Eventually, we exchanged phone numbers and migrated the conversation over to text, going late into the night. In the morning, I moved from Northcote to the car, Nottingham Cottage to the car, without a pause in the texting. I texted with her throughout the long drive to Sir Keith's place, continued through Sir Keith's hall, how you doing, Sir Keith, and up the stairs and into his guest room, where I locked the door and remained holed up, texting. I sat on the bed texting like a teenager until it was time to have dinner with Sir Keith and his family. Then, after dessert, I quickly returned to the guest room and resumed texting. I could not type fast enough. My thumbs were cramping. There was so much to say. We had so much in common. Though we came from such different worlds, she was American, I was British. She was well educated, I was decidedly not. She was free as a bird, I was in a gilded cage. My family, I have to repeat that. She, Meghan, was free as a bird, I was in a gilded cage. She, Meghan, was free as a bird, I was in a gilded cage. My family, and to this day, despite Harry fleeing from the UK, the carnival of so-called experts have not stopped hounding him. Him and Meghan to this day. The attacks, smear campaign has not stopped. Not one bit. The hate campaign has not stopped to this day. So my family, whenever we hear the royal family and UK carnival of so-called experts describing Meghan as, my family, someone who has kidnapped Prince Harry, that Harry is Meghan's hostage, my family, it is always projection. Projection. My family. Because Harry, when he was a senior member of the royal family back in the UK, my family, Harry was trapped. And they hate that Harry escaped. Just think about the reaction they had when they found out that Harry put down a mortgage for his first home. His first home with Meghan and Archie. Think about that reaction we saw. The anger from the carnival of so-called experts. They could not stand the fact, the idea, Harry's move, that Harry was moving on. Harry and Meghan were setting up their home. Building a home in California. They could not stand that one bit. Especially after the carnival of so-called experts back in the UK had claimed, hey look, Harry is going to come back with a tale between his legs. And to this day, my family, to this day, they haven't stopped dreaming that somehow Harry will come back with a tail between his legs. My family, but now, because they see Harry's moves, because they see how Harry is progressing in life, right now they are trying to deport Harry from the US back to the UK because everything they have thrown at Harry has failed. Harry is not coming back with a tail between his legs. As a matter of fact, he is making so much money from his business deals with Spotify, Netflix, his work at Better App. And they can't stand that. The carnival of so-called experts just can't stand that. And my family, the one who was trapped in the story is Prince Harry. And Meghan saved Harry, just like Harry saved Meghan. Harry has his first home in California, Montecito. Harry pays his own bills now without having to depend on Charles for money. My family, that was Harry's life back in the UK. Harry now has achieved financial independence, and the carnival of so-called experts just can't stand that one bit. They can't stand that Harry has achieved financial independence. Harry, keep moving forward. Meghan and Harry are free. And the carnival of so-called experts, members, the royal family, just can't stand that, my family. And as Harry said, America is a great place to live. To quote Prince Harry's words, America is a great place to live in. America. And that is where they live with his wife and his kids, Archie, little bit Diana, my family. And my family, so this carnival of so-called experts and royal ADs blame Meghan Markle for the fallout. My family, once again, they are projecting because of their anger at the failed smear campaign. The reason for their anger is that the smear campaign has not succeeded in destroying or breaking apart Harry and Meghan. That is the reason for the anger. The smear campaign has been a complete, total, utter failure. And everyone can see that 100%. As Harry and Meghan are still together, strong, despite everything that has been thrown to them, towards them, by the carnival of so-called experts and the UK tabloid press. The hate campaign has been a total failure. And my family, that is the truth and nothing but the truth. No wonder the hate campaign continues to this day, because it has been a failure. More and more people believe Harry and Meghan. And the tabloids and the royal family just cannot stand or accept that, one bit. This all started with them briefing daily against Meghan Markle, just as Harry said in 60 Minutes. My family, just hear Harry's own words. Once again, royal ADs, palace staff, members of the royal family are projecting, blaming Meghan because despite what they threw towards her, they did not succeed in destroying Meghan Markle. As a matter of fact, Meghan spoke up. Meghan and Harry spoke up and exposed what the royal family have been doing to try and destroy them. And with each and every single passing day, more and more people believe in Harry and Meghan. My family, please just hear what Harry said about this, my family. Who exactly is to blame? Who started this all, my family?
Country.
Hear this, please.
This all started with them briefing daily against my wife with lies to the point of where my wife and I had to run away from my country. This all started with them briefing daily against my wife with lies to the point of where my wife and I had to run away from my country.
My family, you've heard that from Harry himself. This all started with them briefing daily against my wife with lies to the point of where my wife and I had to run away from my country, exactly as Harry said. The carnival of so-called experts, the royal family, must stop blaming Meghan for everything. They must stop and look deep inside of them. Meghan is not the problem. They are. Their actions are. My family, I feel like they're like, why can't you just put up with abuse? Why can't you just put up with abuse? Meghan is a human being. Meghan is a human being. And she has a right to be treated with basic human dignity. My family, it's important to say that, my family. It's very, very important, my family. And that is what I have to say about that. And don't forget, the royal family were also the ones who are keeping Harry hostage. How? By making Harry, ensuring that in Harry's life, Harry depends on the royal family. My family, that is how life was like for Prince Harry. That's how life was like. And that was not, a good life. Having to depend on your father for money throughout your life, my family. And my family, just hear what Harry said about this, because I also can't stand the language being used by the carnival of so-called experts. Hey, look, that Harry was angry when Charles said he won't pay for, Meghan's bills. My family and Meghan's, work in the royal family. That Meghan was supposed to look for her own work or go back to acting. That's what they expected Meghan to do. My family, just hear this, my family. This shows you exactly who is the one who was controlling Prince Harry. Controlling the money. That person is Charles. And because right now they have no control over Harry, because Harry earns his own living, because Harry has achieved financial independence, they just can't stand seeing Harry thriving. My family, please just hear this, please, my family. And you will know exactly who was truly a hostage. The hostage was Prince Harry when he was in the royal family. My family, that is how life was like there. And Meghan saved Harry. My family, please just kindly hear this, please. And I quote. Sadly, we were going to have to flee. We'd need to find somewhere new. And soon. And that will mean paying for our own security. I went back to my notebooks, began contacting security firms again. Meg and I sat down to work out exactly how much security we could afford and how much house. And just then, while we were revising our budget, word came down, Pa was cutting me off. Harry was being controlled in his life by the man who was in charge of the purse strings, Charles. And then right now, because they can't control Harry, they're all shifting blame to Meghan, the woman who saved Harry, the woman that members of the royal family from Charles to William have been mean and cruel to. My family, I won't stand, put up and watch that. I won't stand, put up and watch that continue. We must call this out. My family, as Harry said about being cut off by Charles, and I quote, I recognized the absurdity. A man in his mid-30s being financially cut off by his father. But Pa was not merely my father. He was my boss, my banker, my controller, keeper of the purse strings throughout my adult life. Cutting me off therefore meant firing me without redundancy pay and casting me into the void after a lifetime of service, more, after a lifetime of rendering me otherwise unemployable. Because for Harry, he was never supposed to be employed by anyone. That was not his life. My family, his life was working for the royal family. That was how things were like. And the royal family was so cruel towards him when they saw they could not control him, when Harry would not just stand there and watch as his wife was being made the scapegoat for the royal family, to cover for Prince Andrew, to cover for the other members of the royal family whom the press had got on. My family, the fact that Harry could not stand and watch as his wife was abused every day has somehow made him to be controlled by Meghan Markle, based on what the royal family is saying, that Harry is Meghan's hostage. Why? Because Harry would not stand there and watch as Meghan was abused every day and join in on the abuse, because we all know, my family, from his memoir, William apparently expected Harry to join in what he referred to Meghan as. Those racist tropes, calling Meghan difficult, rude, abrasive. William expected Harry to agree with him. And because Harry did not, William physically assaulted Prince Harry. Never ever forget that. My family, and just hear this please, what Harry said. I felt fatted for the slaughter, circled like a veal calf. I never asked to be financially dependent on Pa. I've been forced into this surreal state, this unending two-man show in which I almost never carried money, never owned a car, never carried a house key, never once ordered anything online, never once received a single box from Amazon, almost never traveled on the underground. My family, that was Harry's life. Never owned a car, never carried a house key. That was his life. And no wonder that's why the carnival or so-called experts were so angry when they found out Harry and Meghan had put down a mortgage for their first home. That implied Harry was moving on in his life. Harry was progressing in his life. Not what they wanted for him to come back begging in the UK for money. For him to abandon his wife and son, to come back and follow William around. That's what they wanted for Harry. A life of unhappiness. For him to be cruel to his own wife and son. That is what they wanted. My family, I'm glad that they failed. So my family, when Harry was back in the UK, Harry was a hostage of the royal family. Harry was the one who was trapped in a gilded cage. And despite him even fleeing right now, the carnival or so-called experts, the royal family, just can't stop going after him. My family, now as I continue also on this issue that members of the royal family have discussed stripping Harry of his Duke of Sussex title, my family, here is what I have to say about this, my family. First of all, stop with the threats. Because Harry already told you that he was willing to relinquish his Sussex titles if need be. That's what Harry told them. My family, in the Harry and Meghan documentary, my family, just hear what Harry said, my family. And I quote, "My father said, can you put it in writing? I said, I would rather not, because what had happened last time. He said he could not do anything unless it was put in writing. I put it in emails." He goes on to say he sent repeated messages on January 1st, 2nd and 3rd, detailing the thoughts he had. And I quote, "In one of those, I said that if it did not work out, because Harry and Meghan had planned on moving to New Zealand at the time, that he and Meghan would be willing to relinquish their Sussex titles if need be. That was the plan." My family, that is what Harry and Meghan said. My family, if the royal family want to use this as a threat to Harry and Meghan, go right ahead. Show the entire world your cruelty. Charles, you've already shown the world your cruelty by evicting Harry and Meghan out a little bit from their only UK home. The world has seen you. If you want the world to continue seeing you as cruel, then go right ahead. Stop threatening Harry and Meghan with this, "I'm going to strip you of your Sussex titles." Stop it. Stop it. Enough is enough. Enough is enough, Charles. Enough is enough. We are fed up with your threats. We are fed up with Charles' threats towards Prince Harry, Charles and William, because both of them are in on this, my family. Charles, you won't succeed in destroying Harry and Meghan. The more you go after Harry and Meghan, the more the entire world sees that Harry and Meghan were right about the UK British royal family, about the jealousy in the royal family. It's so shameful. In the words of the late King George, and I quote, "We are not a family, we are a farm." And it's true really. The royal family are not a family. They are a farm, unworthy of being called a family. My family now, as I continue also, this issue on the family was shocked by Harry's demand and behavior before Queen's death. So what did Harry demand? What was he demanding, my family? Guess what? Harry only announced, my family, through a spokesperson, that he was going to Balmoral with Meghan. When the royal family learned about it, that Harry was coming with Meghan, right then and there, Charles contacted Harry, telling him not to bring Meghan to Balmoral. Now that is what happened. Hear Harry's very own words about this, please, my family. Because I hate the language that is being used by the media right now, by the UK tabloid press, my family. My family, kindly hear this, please, and tell me, if you're Meghan, Because Meghan must have even read this memoir herself. Spare. If you're Meghan, how would you feel when you hear this, my family? Just when you hear this, tell me, if it was said about you, how would you feel? Kindly. Hear this,
He
please.
said I was welcome at Balmoral, but he didn't want her. He started to lay out his reason, which was nonsensical and disrespectful. I wasn't having it. Don't ever speak about my wife that way. He stammered, apologetic, saying he simply didn't want a lot of people around. No other wives were coming. Kate wasn't coming, he said. Therefore Meg shouldn't. And that's all you needed to say?
My family, if you ever heard someone talk about you in the way that Charles and even William speak about Meghan, my family, how would you feel? If you are Meghan, let's say, how would you feel? My family, how would you feel? It's always William and Charles attacking Meghan Markle, saying that, hey, look, Harry is Meghan's hostage, like an insult to Prince Harry that's been controlled. My family, that's just misogyny. Because they, Charles, were the ones who were controlling Harry. William went on TV to say that he had psychological control, power over Harry. They're the ones who have said it themselves. They're the ones who have said it themselves. And right now, because they can't control him, because Harry has dared protect his wife, defend his wife from their abuse, suddenly, my family, they are the ones throwing these insults that are being called jokes. Harry is Meghan's hostage. My family, we know who was the hostage while in the royal family. It was Prince Harry, and Harry has escaped. And to this day, the royal family can't stand that Harry chose his wife, his son, over following William around, over being the third wheel for William and Kate Middleton, my family, over King Charles. My family, reading Spare, Charles did whatever he wanted to do. He married Camilla, even despite Harry saying to Charles and William, don't marry her. Just be with her, but don't marry her. Charles did whatever he wanted. When Harry fell in love, we have seen the lengths that Charles has gone to try and attack and abuse Meghan Markle. Don't forget, Meghan was not a mistress. Meghan hasn't done anything wrong. My family, nothing wrong. But they hate her because she's biracial, because she refused to be the royal family scapegoat, to smile while being abused, to work for free, as Charles would tell, Prince Harry. But my family, he did not have enough money to fund, Meghan. That Meghan should stick to acting. Rules were being changed because Meghan was outshining Charles and Camilla, and they were jealous. My family, just hear what Harry said about this kind of my family. The jealousy in the farm from Charles and Camilla. My family, please hear this, please, my family. And I quote what Harry said in his memoir Spare. And I quote, the three of us were wearing flat caps, green jackets, plus fours, as if we played for the same sports team. In a way, I suppose we did. Pa, driving us out to the fields, asked about Meg. Not with great interest, just casually. Still, he did not always ask, so I was pleased. She's good, thanks. Does she want to carry on working? So again, does she want to keep on acting? I don't know. I would not think so. I expect she'll want to be with me, doing the job, which would rule out Suits, since they film in Toronto. I see. Well, darling boy, there is not enough money to go around. I stared. What was he banging on about? He explained, or tried to, I can't pay for anyone else. I'm already having to pay for your brother and Catherine. I flinched. Something about his use of the name Catherine. I remembered the time he and Camilla wanted Kate to change the spelling of her name because there were already 2 roll ciphers with a C and a crown above. Charles and Camilla. It would be too confusing to have another. Make it Catherine with a K, they suggested. I wonder now what came of that suggestion. I turned to Willie, gave him a look that said, "You listening to this?" His face was blank. Pa did not financially support Willie and me and our families out of any largesse. That was his job. That was the whole deal. We agreed to serve the monarch, go wherever we were sent, do whatever we were told. Do whatever we were told. Do whatever we were told. Those words carefully used by Prince Harry, which are true. My family tell you exactly who was the hostage, who was in the gilded cage while Meghan was free. That person was Harry. And they were angry and throwing a tantrum because they could no longer control Harry. Because Harry would not stand watching Meghan be abused and keep his mouth shut. My family, just hear this also. Do whatever we were told. Surrender our autonomy. Surrender our freedom. My family, a hostage is someone who has no freedom, who has no autonomy. As that hostage has been kidnapped. My family, as someone who has no, control. And Harry and the royal family had no control, had no autonomy. Hear this also. Keep our hands and feet inside the gilded cage at all times. And in exchange, the keepers of the cage agreed to feed and clothe us. Was Pa, with all his millions from the hugely lucrative Duchy of Cornwall, trying to say that our captivity was starting to cost him a bit too much? My family, I think that ends the debate of exactly who has been the hostage all of this time. The hostage has been Harry all of his life. Meghan saved Harry. Or should I say the abuse from the royal family drove Harry out of the cage. They thought Harry would stick with them, the royal family. Harry chose his wife. They thought Meghan would live alone. They were wrong. Harry left with Meghan, and that was embarrassing for the royal family. Who are now projecting, oh look, Harry's being controlled by Meghan. Harry is Meghan's hostage. We know exactly who is the hostage. Who was the hostage? My family. And that was Harry. In the royal family. In the gilded cage. And Harry escaped. And the farm just can't stand that. My family. They must stop the abuse of Meghan Markle. It must end. It must end right now. It must end. My family, I demand the abuse of Meghan Markle ends right now. It just has to stop. And the abuse is coming not just from the UK tabloids, but clearly, directly from the royal family, from Charles, from Prince William, from Kate, from Camilla. That is where it comes from, my family. And Harry even told Charles, Meg does not eat much. My family, how they treated Meghan Markle has been so poor. Very, very cruelly, my family. All because of jealousy. Jealousy. Meghan has never done anything wrong. But apparently, by refusing to put up with abuse, by living not alone, but with her husband and son, suddenly, my family, Meghan, is the enemy. Meghan is controlling Prince Harry because she refused to put up with abuse, because she refused to be the scapegoat of the royal family. My family, I can't stand that narrative. It's wrong, my family, and we must call it out. We must call it out. My family, I'm happy that Harry escaped the gilded cage in the royal family. I'm happy he chose his wife and kids. That is what a man, a husband should do, a father should do. And we are proud of Prince Harry, my family. Now tell me your thoughts about all of this kindly. I'd like to hear your opinion, please, my family. Hate never wins, only love wins, my family. With that and so much more, stay tuned on this video. Love you always and forever. God bless Harry, Meghan, Archie, Libertana, and Doria, Raglan, and all of you, members of the squad at home. Stay tuned to our next video. Love you always and forever. Hello, members of the Squad Family TV. First of all, I want to say thank you for all your support that you give us to our channel. We don't take it for granted that you support this channel. I want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for lending out your support and fighting against injustices, supporting Prince Harry and Meghan, showing them love. Love will always triumph over evil, and for that I say thank you. Good will always prevail over bad. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much for joining this community, this amazing community of the Squad Family TV. I love you so much, family, from the bottom of my heart, and I wish you all the best. May you have a great day, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and learned a lot of things. With that and so much more, stay tuned to our next video. Leave a comment below, like, and subscribe. Love you, family, always and forever. Sayonara.